welcome back to the Uncool show. I am Dylan,
I'm Nathan.
and we are on episode 24 today, just cranking them out, moving right along. And today we are doing a movie that we were lucky enough to see in theaters this last weekend, Jurassic Park, the Steven Spielberg classic, based on the book by Michael Crichton, screenplay by David Koepp and Michael Crichton. It is one of the biggest blockbusters of all time. It's kind of crazy it took us this long to get to Jurassic Park. It's a huge movie in our childhood. We have seen it a ton. We've seen pretty much all of them a ton. Other than these new ones, which we will touch on later, just as an opportunity for comedic relief or something. But
something to poke fun at.
Something to poke fun at. Gosh, they're bad. But the 1993 Spielberg classic still holds up. Oh my gosh, does it still hold up?
It's still so good.
Why don't you talk a little bit as an intro? Talk a bit about Jurassic Park and about our relationship to it and your earliest memories of it.
Yeah, so this, like Dylan said, was a huge part of our childhood and something that we watched probably too early. I remember it's definitely scared me for some parts when I remember I have like a vivid memory of Laura Dern in the in the bunker with all the electrical equipment and the raptors are chasing her and the severed arm coming down. That freaked me out. I don't remember how old I was, but I was way too young to be watching that.
There are a lot of parts of this movie that are
they're very
really
intense and scary. And I would lean horror. If I had to choose, it's a great genre blend, this movie. Yeah. But man, there are some terrific, scary sequences, even to this day, that are very jarring and super exciting. And that's all due to filmmaker Steven Spielberg. He's an amazing director and probably my favorite, as is a lot of others, you know.
Yeah,
it's so cliche. Oh, Spielberg's my favorite director. He's so personal to me. And like, that's millions of people think the same thing.
Yeah, for sure.
And this is probably one of his most well-known movies and probably one of the most seen movies he's ever done.
Made over $1 billion.
Considering all of his filmography, you know, this is probably the biggest hit and the biggest cultural event. You know, I mean, he's made a lot of those.
Yeah.
In the same year,
this to stand up, to be the blockbuster of all of his blockbusters is a huge achievement.
It's a huge movie for generations after generations, for Gen Xers, for millennials, for Gen Z, on and on and on. Like, this movie is another one that's going to be passed down. And yeah, like you said, we were really lucky to see it in theaters.
Yeah, it's a great theater experience.
The flashback movie this week, and it was a ton of fun, and it was amazing to see on the big screen.
Yeah, it's one of those movies that, like you said, it stands the test of time. It's aged really well. Even some of like the spottier CGI, you don't care, you know? Like the first time you see the Brachiosaurus, like that CGI is like the only shot in the movie where that has kind of aged a bit. And you don't even care because of like the majesty of the moment and the score swelling up and the performances from Sam Neill and Laura Dern and Goldblum in that moment with Attenborough monologuing. I mean, it's a classic moment. But, you know, Jurassic Park, like Nathan said, is one of those movies that we watched as a kid a ton, both on like VHS and it was always on TV, on TNT. And it is one of those movies to quote Bill Simmons. You know, you see one scene of Jurassic Park while you're channel flipping, and you're like, oh, I gotta sit down. I'm in for the last hour of this movie. There's no getting away from it. It is one of those movies. And yeah, like Nathan said, and we will touch on certain scenes. There were a couple scenes that even this last weekend that really scared me, and just like the T-Rex paddock scene, which is probably the most famous scene in the movie. The performances from those two kids while they're alone in that car this weekend really got to me. I'm like, oh, I remembered why that scene freaked me out so much as a kid. It's because those kids are
very convincing,
like in fear for their lives. But going back before we go forward, you know, this was our introduction to, I would imagine, Sam Neill, Laura Dern, and Goldblum. This movie is completely carried by an unbelievable cast of both like Hollywood mainstays and A-listers and like great character actors. And right away, I mean, after the intro, which is another one of those scenes that just freaked
Scary.
me out as a kid.
Freaked me out too.
It's
Very eerie.
It's eerie, yeah.
And sudden and scary. And yeah, I whenever I watch it, I think the last time I watched it on 4K and today in the theater, you get that glimpse of the raptor's eyes in the cage.
Yep.
And it went because the filmmaking is very frenetic in that sequence.
Yeah, like you said, very quick, very like
Spielberg doesn't really work in that setting very often. I would say even his more suspenseful, fast-moving films, there's usually a sense of like the camera is not moving and there's not a lot of like handheld shaky, and this one does it in a very like graceful way in order to obviously jar the audience like awake. You're kind of like immediately brought to that moment of panic and suspense,
and brought into this world in which these creatures can kill you at a moment's notice. You know, you can do everything right, and still the lethality of the Velociraptor is what the movie hits you with right away, which is really cool, and it sets up Sam Neill as a Velociraptor expert and everything that happens with that species later in the movie. But I mean, I hope I didn't speak for you. This was your first Sam Neill. I mean,
I think absolutely. I think it has to be.
And for all three of them, I would imagine.
It has to be all three of them.
And Richard Attenborough. I mean, I'm sure everybody in this movie was our first time seeing any of them.
The only person I might say that isn't is maybe Sam Jackson because of Star Wars.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Maybe.
And Sam Jackson, but even then, this was one of my first like Sam Jackson movies. And like you said, a lot of great character actors make up the bulk of this movie. And some of them are inherently tied to Jurassic Park, some not. But whenever you see them, you're like, oh wow, that guy, this girl. Like it's really cool. And anyways, in the first sequence.
I mean, well, something that I want to touch on is like like the way that sequence is lit and shot. It reminds me of like something you would see in like Alien.
Great. Yeah.
Like just like that, like because you can see like the grain coming through the light of like the bars of the enclosure, and it like you said, it's a mood and a look that Spielberg doesn't go for too often.
No.
But he really hits it here, and it is one of the most incredible intros to not just the world of this island and of Jurassic Park, but of Robert Muldoon as one of like the most badass 90s characters ever, and somebody that like I think every boy as like a young boy is like, oh man, I just want to go hunt dinosaurs with that guy, right? It's a great introduction to him, and you even though he doesn't have a lot of lines in that scene, like he does a lot of facial acting of like we shouldn't be here. This is such a probably comes straight from the safaris of Africa where he knows every animal and now he's in a completely new territory. It's such an interesting way to set up this blend of science coming against humanity.
And no one's prepared for what's about to come next. Like obviously everyone is getting way over their skis in terms of putting all of these extinct species back into the world, and no one is prepared. No one is ready for what's about to come next, especially, I mean, Attenborough's character, Hammond. Like he sets all this into place without there being many restrictions in place, which is eventually what Malcolm and the rest of the scientists get into later.
Yep. His delusion, while ambitious and cool, just not thought out at all, or at least not thought out to the point it needed to be. But that being said, we'll skip over to, there's another scene right after that opening where the lawyer, Gennaro, is going down to the mines, and you see the amber, which I always like that scene too. It's very
Indiana Jones coded sequence.
Yeah, 100%.
And you get like the jungle noises and like the river raft going down. Gennaro meets, the like diggers, or like I find they're like,
and you would imagine these are like
excavators,
but like it feels like it's not exactly above board.
No, exactly.
Like there's something going on here that like is either illegal, they shouldn't be here, or they're doing something without. It just doesn't feel right. And yeah, it is a very Indiana Jones coded sequence. But then instead of having somebody like Indiana Jones in that, you have Gennaro who's like shaking as he's trying to get across the raft, and he's a fun foil to the rest of the characters in this movie, who are all kind of like either intellectually, physically, or both ready for the situation. And then there's Gennaro, and I love the introduction to him as a character too. But then you get the real meat, the real intro, which is Sam Neill as Dr. Grant digging up this Velociraptor skeleton. Why don't you talk about that scene a little bit? Because it just set up, Grant as a character and Neill as a performer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so leading into that sequence, it's a great cut. One of the diggers has the amber, with the fly enclosed in amber, which eventually gets into the science of how they bring back all the dinosaurs later in the movie. But yeah, it's a great cut from that to the digger talking about Alan Grant, Sam Neill's character, and they cut to all the people, brushing off the dinosaur bones, and yeah, eventually going into Sam Neill and Laura Dern's little introduction of the movie, going into their base camp in some sort of desert area. I forget
they're in the
what.
Nevada Badlands.
Yeah, and so they have like a base camp there, and they have a project digging up all of those bones, and yeah, it sets up this great dynamic where we don't know exactly like how long they've been working together or known each other, but they have a good rapport, those two. They're dating, right?
Yep.
And two fellow, are they archaeologists?
Yeah.
Yeah, two fellow archaeologists like Indiana Jones.
She's focused on digging up old plants.
She's a paleobotanist.
Paleobotanist.
And he's straight up like archaeologist. I forget whatever term they give him, but it's something. Paleontologist, right. And so they're doing that, and they're going down to the computer to see. They have like this new 1993 technology of, they put some sort of thing in the ground that shows.
It's like a sonar charge.
Yep. And where then we eventually get the first insight into to Alan and his relationship with children, because he overhears some little punk kid talking about how velociraptors aren't really scary. They're more like a bird.
Looks like a bird. Looks like a giant turkey.
Yeah, giant turkey. And then Alan gets at this smile on his face. He's like, I'm going to put this kid in this place. And then he grabs, the raptor claw that he has on him, and he shows him exactly how the raptor would kill him. And leaving the kid just like mouth wide open, really scared. And
so try to show a little respect, okay?
And he's so good in that sequence. Yeah, he's perfect. And
Laura Dern is really great in that too, as she's playing off of him. She's like, oh man, the moment he starts, oh no.
Like, here we go. Like, this isn't the first time this has happened, setting up his relationship to the kids later in the movie. Yeah. And his true disinterest in not only
disdain for
them,
kids.
But they eventually, after that scene is over, like having kids. Like, Alan.
He's like, you want one of those?
Right. Yeah. And like, then what's Laura Dern's character's name?
Ellie Sattler.
Ellie. They're talking about having babies.
A version of that of Dr. Grant.
And then as they're walking up the hill, and then this helicopter comes in, and then we get the introduction to John Hammond.
I do want to say, when we saw this weekend, as they were walking up to their trailer, talking about their relationship and talking about kids in the future, I was just like, these two characters should have ended up together. Mm-hmm. In Jurassic Park 3, you see that like he's moved on, she's moved on, and they still talk, but in that moment, it's like, man, these two have perfect chemistry. These characters are perfect for each other.
Well, I know you. It's funny you say that. I know you haven't seen the last Jurassic World movie proper. They get back together at the very end, and it's not done well at all.
Nothing in that movie.
And it's really bad.
That's funny.
Because in that last Jurassic World,
that's funny.
I don't even remember what it's called. Fallen Kingdom. Or there's a second one. Anyways, they're really bad. But they bring back the three original characters, and they eventually end up together at the end. So that's Colin Trevorrow's resolution. Wow. And so keep going. Yeah.
Wow.
Just so you know, just to bring you up to date.
Well, thank God that worked out.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, their chemistry in 93, maybe 92 when they were filming, you would think that like these two have worked on movies. It just seems so natural and loving and affectionate, and they're like poking fun at each other, and their dynamic is set up in a very cool way right away, and I love their introduction. Mm-hmm. And the more I watch this movie, the more I love Laura Dern as Ellie Sattler. We'll get more into her later. Yeah, you were just getting to the John Hammond introduction, who Richard Attenborough, rest in peace. I think he is just one of the the coolest performers in this movie. Other than Goldblum, I think he's probably my second. He's just chewing scenery every time and doing it with such panache and such like a natural gift.
Yeah.
What talk a little bit about this scene, how you remember it as a kid.
Well, it's a very light sequence, you know. I mean, the helicopter is blowing all sand around all the dinosaur bones and kind of making Ellie and Alan a little they're frustrated. They're like, "What? Who is this big shot
They're
that's
mad,
coming in?"
yeah.
And then they eventually walk into their trailer, and there's Hammond with like champagne bottle in hand, and he pops a cork. And I love how Ellie runs in. Okay, who's the jerk? You know, like, who is this guy?
Hey, we were saving that.
Yeah.
The moment the
Yeah.
champagne gets popped.
For today.
I
guarantee
it.
Oh, his accent is just perfect.
Yeah.
Heavy, I think it's Scottish.
He's Scottish. Yep.
Very heavy Scottish accent. And, you know, Hammond has this relationship to Ellie and Alan's projects where he funds a good size of them.
But they've never met him before.
Never met him.
They just know the name.
And so, like, this is an event of them meeting.
Yeah.
And,
because the moment he says his name, Alan, he goes from anger to, I just called him this, I just said this, you know, and he does the same thing as Ellie's like, who's the jerk? He immediately turns to her, this is Mr. Hammond, who runs our project.
And then they shut up and start listening.
Yeah.
And Hammond has a lot of weight in this sequence, and he has a lot of power over these people because he controls how their projects go financially.
And he's throwing it around. He's using his weight.
Yes, and he's using that, but he's also has this light touch about him, this like Walt Disney-esque quality where like he's very warm and light, and he like draws you in. You like when he talks, you listen.
You want to trust him.
Right, and he is very vague about what eventually is known as Jurassic Park, and he's trying to lure them in and saying like, I just need you to come look at this site for the weekend, and I'll fund your next couple digs for the next, what is he like, couple of years.
Well, first he says, you know, by fully compensating your dig, and he's like, this is a bad time. We really can't leave for a further 4 years or something.
Which is a huge amount of money, just thinking about it.
Millions.
Mm-hmm.
So they immediately like celebrate because this is the break they've been looking for. We get to continue to do what we love and are passionate about for the next years and not have to worry about the money. You know, that's a gift for any professional. And so they jump at the opportunity. I mean, Hammond is, like you said, he is drawing them in. He is not letting any of their negativity or any of their fears getting to him, because in the back of his mind, I'm a billionaire. Money talks, and I will make sure that the money talks loud enough to get these people on
to okay the part.
Yep.
He needs the okay from those two.
He's trying to buy everybody.
They're experts, right? Yeah. And I think that sequence eventually leads us into the introduction of Nedry, Dennis Nedry.
Yes.
And this great. I love how it's filmed.
You know, people know him as Newman.
Newman from Seinfeld.
I'm always gonna know him as Nedry. You know.
Yeah, he's Nedry to me.
Yeah.
He's Nedry to me. This great sequence when this like secret agent type is walking with a briefcase into this restaurant in Costa Rica, and Nedry sitting there with this amazing, whoever designed that shirt,
super loud.
It's great, and he's sitting there, and you know, with Nedry's, you know, characterization, like he stands out in the room, like he has, like, just due to his size and like
physically and
just like the size of his personality, like he has the glasses, he has the shirt, he's eating everything in front of him, and he's eventually calls Dodgson.
He's like a king holding court. You know, he's just like...
He feels like he's really, I mean, he's really into himself, and he knows he carries a lot of power in the moment due to what's about to happen next with Dodgson, who works for another company that's trying to replicate, dinosaurs and bring them back to Earth too.
Yeah, which the book goes a little more into Dodgson and the company, which I've read that book a bunch. I should know the name of the other company. But yeah, this scene is really about Nedry chewing scenery and letting us, the audience, know that whatever this guy's about to do is going to be the driving force in the movie moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
You get to know right away that whatever is on the island is an IP worth millions, if not billions.
Mm-hmm.
There's a price point given. You get the cool sequence with the
Barbasol.
The Barbasol, which he is freaking out about. He's like squealing in anticipation. And he's like, he puts shaving cream on his hand, smells it, and then puts it on a piece of pie. He's not going to eat. And before that scene ends, he makes it known that Hammond's mistake was being cheap. After eating all this food, he forces this guy to pick up the tab. I mean, they've just gone over terms of millions of dollars, but that's not enough. He has to pick up this too. It's like he's like the ultimate characterization of greed and envy, as we see with that dynamic with Hammond later. But what's the name of that actor who plays Nedry?
I kept thinking about it, and I can't believe Wayne Knight.
Wayne Knight is so good in this movie.
Yes.
And again, this was my introduction to him. I know he's known for Seinfeld, but he is great as Nedry, and we'll touch more on Nedry later. But then we finally get to meet Ian Malcolm in the airplane sequence. Ian Malcolm, Jeff Goldblum, he's somebody that you and I both really appreciate, and this movie is the reason why. Why don't you talk a little bit about Ian Malcolm as a character?
I mean, his introduction, he's just like the ultimate charming, like smarmy guy. Like he's just it's a perfect character introduction. And we didn't get like a scene establishing like where Malcolm is coming from. We just see him on the helicopter with introducing himself to Ellie and Alan and Hammond and Gennaro. And yeah, he has that iconic laugh that's been memed and talked about for a long time. And
I mean, and he's carrying himself as a rock star amongst the peasants,
And he's immediately closing in on Ellie, which is making Alan insecure because
the attractive woman.
Like Ian is like the ultimate confident character,
and like you said, like
guy. They did describe him as like a rock star behind the scenes, and that's what. Why am I already forgetting his name? Who played
Goldblum?
Goldblum, of course. That's what they wanted his character to be like. And I don't think that they paint him as like that in the book. You would know more than I would.
He's a little smarter in the book. I mean, not that he's not smart here, but he's a little more into the chaos math as opposed to being a Lothario, But there are still those elements in the book too.
Yeah. And so we're introduced to now all of the central characters for the most part. Like now this is the point where we can see, where the real thrills of the island and like of the filmmaking present themselves.
Start to come together, yep.
And we eventually are in the Jurassic Park vehicle, like the Jeep, Jurassic Park Jeep.
And the whole time this is happening, you're getting the score.
Which is a great John Williams score.
The John Williams theme that everybody has heard a million times. I feel like it's going for like 10 straight minutes as you fly to the island, drive through the island, and then have that scene with the first introduction of the dinosaurs. And this is, if not my favorite John Williams score, it has to be in like his top 3 for me, you know. He's just, I really think this might be my favorite. He's just, what he did, he was cooking here.
It's a perfect score.
Yeah.
It really is. And it is on his Mount Rushmore of scores pretty easily. And it really does set, us up for like this grand experiment that Hammond is creating and is trying to show, Malcolm and Alan and Ellie and eventually they pull up and like you said, like that's like the real like Spielberg wonder shots coming to a part where, we just get the Spielberg like stare. And sometimes in his other movies, it's like the alien shot. You're like looking up and they see in Close Encounters or E.T. And this, like you see, like it's pretty level. And then you see them slowly but surely like realizing, oh my gosh, like Hammond actually did.
He did it.
He actually did it. And
Alan, like just like that shot of him like standing up out of the Jeep, like removing his glasses. He just looks like he's in a daze,
Like brought back to childhood. Like it's like a kid.
Yeah.
Like being in awe, pure awe. And then he takes Ellie and twists her head.
Because she's talking about this plant that shouldn't be there.
Right. And then they're both just awestruck. And you can see when they are, and obviously the shot of the dinosaurs is like some of the most like grand shots of the film and of Spielberg's career. And and back in 1993, that had to be like one of the more crazy things you'd ever seen in movies. And obviously nowadays the CGI doesn't hold up as well, but still like you get the sense of wonder and awe in each moment. when they're introduced to the
yeah,
dinosaurs.
I mean,
and that's when also the score also
Dude,
comes back and is just brilliant. And it does bring a lot of emotions. You know, it's like emotional manipulation for
It
the
is.
audience too,
Yeah.
because you're right in the. I mean, that's a perfect, movie moment where the characters in the movie are seeing the dinosaurs, and you as the audience have never seen dinosaurs look
and you're
that
right
good
in
on
there,
film.
and you're right in there with them.
And you're right in there, and it's one of the best moments of the film, and one of the more iconic moments.
Alan and Ellie are crying. I mean, they're tearing up. They're just, Malcolm is just laughing. You crazy son of a bitch, you did it. You did it. And then you have Gennaro just like, we're gonna make a fortune off this place.
You get each character's reaction, and it's true to themselves.
And their motivation.
Right, and their motivation. And then like Hammond is like waxing poetic, and then he is like introducing them. Like this is like his Walt Disney moment. Like
how did you do it?
Right. I'll show you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
It's a perfect movie moment. It really is.
Then they go to the compound. They take the tour with the Mr. DNA animated character and hello John, that whole thing, which is great.
Which is very also like Disney coded and definitely like, oh, this is a theme park.
Yes.
This isn't like a scientific center.
No.
This is meant to be for entertainment.
Yeah, I love the line with Gennaro, like these are all autoerotica.
Trying to say animatronics. Trying to say animatronics. He says autoerotica, which is a great cap line. That's a great.
I always love that. But you get a very brief introduction to B.D. Wong briefly after that. And you're also introduced to who Hammond calls the target audience, which is the two kids played by Joseph Mazzello.
Ariana Richards.
Thank you. I wasn't going to remember that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
We're gonna finish each other's because you helped me with Goldblum. Yeah. So there's a lot of working parts to this.
But you also get that scene with Muldoon talking about the raptors now. They should all be destroyed. That's the first line you hear from him post the intro. They should all be destroyed.
The accident. Like there was a bad accident. Yep.
And that's probably been his line to Hammond and everybody since it happened. This is a mistake. I shouldn't. But he's also getting paid probably obscene amounts to be the game warden there. And he's not leaving either, which is crazy. Right. But you get that great scene with him. I love that raptor scene.
Me too. And like that whole, so everything after they get off like the ride, after they get off the ride with Mr. DNA and they do visit B.D. Wong's character and like the center where they're doing all like the eggs and DNA.
They see the raptor hatched.
Which when watching it again in the theater, I'm like, that is one of the more realistic animatronics
I've ever.
The little raptor popping out of the egg, and you get like Attenborough push.
He's taking
and he's like this fatherly figure to it, and he sees his creation, and then that's when you start to get the ball rolling of Ian, Ellie, and Alan being like, ooh, like he's wielding a lot of power here, and that's when Ian specifically asks about how, like. About the DNA asking about like how are they not mating naturally, and then B.D. Wong's character goes, "Oh, they're all female.
We deny them that chromosome. We simply deny them that."
And you see the wheels turning in Malcolm and the other. I mean, there's a great shot of Ian holding the raptor and being kind of like he's obviously like he's shocked and he's like, "I can't believe this is in my hand," but he's also thinking in the back of his head,
"Why?"
He's like, "Why is this happening? And why?" As a human and like in this century being able to do this and like this little thing is going to become like a killing machine.
And Grant is also just like, you bred raptors? Even he like
a really bad decision,
like,
obviously. Right.
The movie sets up that like of all the dinosaurs that Grant has dug up before, he's kind of a raptor expert somehow, and right away his whole demeanor changes when he finds out that this is a baby velociraptor. Which again sets up things to come. But you get that. Malcolm, like, do you go into the park? Look up the dinosaur skirts. And he's like, you're being funny. And they try to put him down with the science. But this all leads into the dinner scene. Well, lunch, I guess they're having lunch.
Technical lunch, yeah. They're
having lunch before the tour. And this is one of my favorite scenes
mine too
in the movie, if not my favorite scene. Hammond is still in his element, feeling good. He's like, I just impressed everybody here. Like, this is everything I want it to be. And then slowly, every single character other than Gennaro, the blood-sucking lawyer, kind of reveal that like they're having very real doubts and not just doubts but fear about what's going on here, all for different reasons and different ways of their fear. But every line of dialogue in this scene is just perfect. I think every little rant that every character goes on is just awesome and sets up the central conflict of man versus nature, man versus science, man versus science versus nature.
How does science and commerce mix?
Yeah.
You know, like, how can you go too far while trying to entertain people?
Because Ian has his little mini rant where before you even know what you have, you've packaged it, you market it, and you're selling it. You put it on a box and you're selling it.
He smacks the table.
Yep.
And he's right. Life finds a way. That's like, there's a lot of iconic dialogue in that sequence.
Yep.
And during the course of it, Hammond is going one by one and hearing all of their takes and going like, you're all wrong. He's like, you got it all wrong. Like, this is meant for good. Like, this is meant, like, we can do something for science and for just the general public. Like, there can be a mix.
We're doing things here that nobody has ever been able to do. And then Ian gives that line. Your scientists were so preoccupied with whether they could, they didn't think about whether they should.
Whether they should, which is a great like thesis statement to the movie and to the story itself.
Yep. But I there are times where I'll just pull up that scene on YouTube because every performance in that scene is just unreal.
Different, but like uniquely, like they're all, because you get the sense that they're scientists, paleobotanists, paleontologists, like they're come from different walks of the science world, but they're all coming to this agreement that this is not right. And obviously they haven't gotten the tour yet, and that's when the real like genuine scare and like thrills come into being. But like at first they're like they're immediately in awe when they see the dinosaurs at first, and they start learning more and more about the park and what happened behind the scenes, and they're very apprehensive. And Hammond has a great line. You mentioned it earlier. I thought all of you were guys going to support me, and the only one who is the blood-sucking lawyer.
Thank you.
Thank you. And so immediately, you know, all the scientists in Hammond are on the wrong foot, you know, after the initial moment of meeting. And so, then we're eventually
But at this point, every character is still willing to go on the tour.
Willing to go on the tour and learn about, you know, what the public is going to be in for.
Yes.
You know, in their like tram ride, you know, going in the Jeeps, going through all the different exhibits.
Right after this, you meet the kids. The kids immediately gravitate towards Alan, which is a really cool thing. And, you know, the two groups are starting to get ready, while at the same time you're seeing the dynamic between everybody in the control room, especially with Nedry, whose command station is disgusting. He's a slob. He's complaining about his pay. He's complaining about financial issues. It's very clear that him and John have been going back and forth on this for a long time. It's a very cool dynamic. I love everything with that scene. I really...
like Nedry is kind of like the black sheep in that room.
You can tell nobody wants
because they're all kind of sick of his crap, and I think they're sick of his like entitlement. You know, because they're all probably getting paid the same in that room. You know, you get Sam Jackson's character, who is kind of like probably the leader of the room, it seems. But Nedry also carries a lot of weight in terms of like security and keeping Jurassic Park stable as a whole.
He's the automation guy. Nobody else can automate the way he can. He's from Cambridge. Nedry's character went to Cambridge. When things go wrong later, Hammond is like, call Cambridge, get Nedry's people on the phone. You know, this guy is very accomplished, even though he doesn't look like it and doesn't present himself that way. But this weird dynamic between them is really cool right before the tour starts. Because finally Muldoon is like, shut up, everybody. Tour's starting, you know. They're going towards a Tyrannosaur paddock. But everything from this point on is just pure spectacle and pure madness for the rest of the movie.
It doesn't let up, really. There are some moments of quiet, which I loved. Some great moments.
And they feel really earned and really, they're great.
This is the jumping off point. Because then there's like no turning back for these characters after this tour starts.
They go through, they have a no-show with the Dilophosaurus. Goldblum is taunting.
Which is this great shot of the camera, like he gets right up, it's like a fisheye lens, and he's breathing the camera, like, there are going to be dinosaurs on your dinosaur exhibit,
right?
And then Hammond, I hate that man.
And then he goes right into that scene where he talks about chaos theory with Ellie, and he starts flirting with her. They all jump out of the car to go see the sick Stegosaurus, which is, again, great animatronic work. Great,
kind of seamless.
Great acting from Laura Dern and the kids in this scene. I think the kids really shine in that sequence. They come around the corner and like the look on Mazzello's face, it's like, oh my gosh, this is real to these kids. It just is a great little sequence. And everything with the kids talking about Alan's work compared to other paleontologists' work, and his book was way longer than yours and had it illustrate. It's just, I love all the stuff with those kids. They're great. And this scene with the sick Triceratops, it holds up. Like you said, him like
Alan's getting on it, and like Ellie starts crying. Ellie starts crying when she gets to like touch it and like care for it, and she's very overwhelmed.
Yeah, it's a really well acted scene.
Very well acted, and it for these characters that hadn't seen or encountered dinosaurs, this almost feels like too casual. Like we're just getting to walk up to a dinosaur, like a sick dinosaur, but it's a dinosaur nonetheless, and they're getting to interact with it and touch it. Yep. That's been when it becomes like a tangible thing to them. That sequence does.
And it's also a jumping off point because Ellie decides to stay with Dr. Harding, who is the father of Juliet Moore's character in the sequel.
Wow. I didn't even put that. I don't think I even realized that.
It's more of a thing in the book.
That's cool.
But that's Julianne Moore's father, and she, stays with them, so she misses out on the T-Rex sequence. The horror of that. She's already back at the station by that point because the weather got bad. But like we hinted at, is right after this we get the set piece of the film, which is the T-Rex breaking out. Because at this point, Nedry has snuck away. He has done his execution of his code that he's been writing and working on so that he can steal these embryos and get to the dock, because there's a huge storm coming on the island and they have to evacuate all non-essential personnel. So at this point, it's going to be Hammond and like 4 other people on this island with all these dinosaurs, which is crazy. But Nedry's escaped. He has shut off the power to pretty much every major...
very reckless.
Even systems I don't think he fully thought about turning. No. He just, screw these guys, I'll turn off everything. And
which eventually leads to his demise. Like his death, like him being so reckless, and because he didn't have to turn off everything like he did and like be so careless with how he handled everything. He just wanted to get out there quick because of the storm. Like the storm made him act irrationally.
Because he's on the phone with his connection. He's like, you gotta give me the 15 minutes. I need more time. I gotta get out of here. He's freaking out. But it is at this moment where, the tram, the electronics of the tram of the Jeep stop. So they're stopped in front of this, and they're like, the power went out. No, Grant is keeping Ian calm because Ian's starting to get nervous. Gennaro's just chilling. He's not too worried at this point. The kids aren't even too worried.
They're just playing with stuff in the car.
Is that heavy? Yeah. Then it's expensive. Put it back. But then the girl, Alex.
Lex. Sorry, Lex.
Lexi. Yeah. They call her a bunch of different things throughout the movie, but Lex mainly.
Yeah.
And she notices that a goat that had been there before is no longer there. And then pretty much right after that, what's left of this goat is dropped onto the hood. The top of
their Jeep. Yeah,
it's the shank, the leg of this goat.
Yep.
And it's at this moment where the score starts to come in. You've already gotten that cool moment with
the water in the cup, which is like slightly vibrating.
Yep.
And then
you see like the claw of the T-Rex like testing the
over like the rope, like whatever those are called, like the ropes of the paddock.
Yeah, which are supposed to be 10,000 volts.
And then
it's like messing with it. Oh, these are off.
since they're shut off, and then boom, like it just tears them all down.
And this is when you get, I think, the most impressive blend of CGI and animatronics ever put on film. This is still seamless.
I mean, it really is, and it's still scary. It's still thrilling. It is the best sequence of the movie, that initial T-Rex attack.
Yeah.
And I mean, like we said earlier, like in the beginning of the pod, like it's scary because those kids look scared. They're screaming.
They are screaming for their lives.
Like, and there's some great like tiny sequences within the sequence where you get Well, Alan, being the dinosaur expert, is telling like, stop moving, and like, because they have this flashlight that they're shining, and they're doing everything he's saying in the car to Ian, not like they do it. That he's giving them a blueprint, but they're not, because he's not with them, and they're kids, they're scared,
and they're alone because Gennaro
leaves and goes to the bathroom. He's just hiding.
He's just hiding in the bathroom.
And yeah, I mean, the great sequence when Lex is holding the light to the dinosaur's eyes, and the pupil dilates, like it changes, like that's like one of the more real looking. I mean, that's more real than a CGI could look.
100%.
Like it looks perfect, and you get that iconic roar. You get when the dinosaur is on the kids' Jeep and just like suddenly smashes in, and then the glass comes down, and they're like holding it up, and it's still so scary.
The T-Rex flips the car, so then they're upside down in the mud as the mud is coming up into their car. Again, you would think these kids are about to die, and it's just a testament to Mazzello and again, what's her name? Ariana Richards. Unbelievable performance. And Spielberg was always able to get like really cool performances out of kids.
Always.
And this sequence probably took weeks of really arduous, hard work.
Mm-hmm.
And
getting them into that headspace.
Yeah.
Not only like getting the kids and the actors in the right headspace, like you're going to be scared the entire time, and we need you to be scared for this to be actually effective. Mm-hmm. Because we can go as far as we can, like with technology and with the animatronics, but it needs to feel real because the actors make it feel real.
Yep. And you also get, I mean, at this point, the movie's made it clear that Alan is our protagonist. He's our hero. But you get to see him be heroic, and you get to see Ian Malcolm be heroic. He does it. He tries to follow Grant's lead. He does it in a haphazard way, but I just always love that, like Ian's motivations. He screams, just get the kids. You know. Mm-hmm. He does the exact opposite of what Gennaro did. You know, and I just love that moment where both these guys with very different personalities and like philosophies on life are just like, I don't give a shit. Just get the kids out of here. You know, it's a really cool sequence. You get to see their dynamic too, because before the attack, Ian's like, he's like scared. You know, he's like, well, it's just a hook up in the power. What are you gonna be so scared for? He's like, I didn't say I was scared. Kids get scared sometimes.
Kids get scared.
So to see Ian like be that scared and still like, I gotta try to be a hero. I always love that moment.
And that opens up, well, obviously that's the first more, and Alan takes ownership of like, I'm an adult and these are kids and they're scared.
Yeah.
I'm an expert here. I need to take matters into my own hands. Yep. And obviously you can't fight off the T-Rex, but he knows how to outsmart the T-Rex because the T-Rex, once you stop moving, it can't see you. It sees movement.
Yeah.
Once you become frozen, like it's done. Like its effectiveness is out the door. And so, yeah, he eventually reaches the kids, and Ian gets like this flare and tosses it, and the dinosaur goes after Ian
instead of the flare.
Letting Alan take Lex, because Tim is still in
stuck. His
the
foot
Jeep,
is stuck. Yep.
Which eventually gets launched over like this concrete wall into a tree.
Crazy, dude.
Which is unbelievable. First, it strains like credibility. You're like, I don't think Tim would make it through that. Like, I really don't. But he's a smart kid. He knows what he's doing at some points. Yeah. But yeah, and then that's like a 5-6 minute sequence, but it's genuinely thrilling, and it is like the midpoint of the movie. It's also the standout sequence.
And it ends with the T-Rex, just like a shot of the T-Rex roaring over the madness of the scene, of like the bookend of like, I am in control here. It's just such a cool, and like you hinted at, the sound design of the T-Rex roar, which is like 15 different things combined. Mm-hmm. It's so awesome. At that point, you get Ellie and Muldoon coming back to the scene, which I love that too, with just her shrieking Alan's name and like this crazy like you can see her voice is about to go in at that moment. And they like, I think this was Gennaro. I think this was too, because Gennaro does get eaten by the T-Rex.
He was eaten, and obviously into like that's a great. But pieces, when that in that sequence, like the building like collapses on itself, and then you just get him sitting on the toilet and like just scared out of his mind. Yeah. And that's the first death we see in the movie with our central characters, not counting for the first sequence. But yeah, so Ellie and Muldoon get Ian. They put him in the Jeep, and then we get another like thrilling like a dinosaur car chase, which is Brilliant.
Crazy. I just love, and Ian's just like, when he's alone in the car, he's like, these are impact tremors. I'm actually fairly alarmed here.
Yep. Must go faster. Must go faster. Yeah. Oh, that's a great when he's like he's getting Ellie and Muldoon to hop in the Jeep and and then like you see the T-Rex coming through the trees, which is a great shot.
Yeah.
Let's go. We gotta go.
Again, the CGI unbelievable.
The CGI holds up very well in the night sequences.
Yeah.
When it's day, it's a little less effective. But in the night with the T-Rex, all of it looks pretty seamless to this day.
It's incredible. Yeah, Ellie, Ian, Muldoon, they get away, but then you get that cool sequence of Alan getting Tim out of the car, out of the tree, as the tree is
another great suspenseful sequence.
It's like the car is like careening down the tree, and sometimes a bigger branch will stop it just before it crushes one of them, and I know just things that should be super mundane are like brilliant when Spielberg does them, and you know, especially when he did them here, it's incredible.
It really is incredible. Like it's so simple in scope, but he makes it feel so alive and so real. It is a true like thrill ride. Like that, like 15 minutes of the movie, the whole rest of the movie is that, but like in those 15 minutes at night, you know, genuine stakes. I mean, those kids are young and they're really scared, and Alan has to really lead them by the hand, quite literally.
Yeah.
And yeah, that car sequence when they get up and Tim's like he has PTSD.
He's just a little kid,
and he's like, I threw up. And then Alan's like, oh, that's okay. I won't tell anyone you threw up. Yeah. Like, that's so like very warm, very caring. Even though he's like, no one cares that you threw up.
It's like dinosaurs are out.
Bigger matters here. Yeah.
It's like, it's all right, buddy. But like, it's such a real moment for my kid.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what a kid would say, and that, you know, I just threw up.
I threw up.
You know, what do you get? You get pretty much right after that the cool sequence of the three of them sleeping in that tree, where Alan is again like, I'll stay up all night. You know, again, beautiful like sparkling score in the background of that. It is also at that moment where Ellie and Hammond are having their dinner, which is
another one of the better dialogue-driven sequences in the movie.
If the lunch isn't my favorite scene, or the T-Rex set piece, this would be my third. This is in there too. I think the dialogue between them and him going on his monologue about the flea circus and how he's like, of course none of it was real. It was all motorized, but these kids would tell me like, you know, Mommy, can't you see the fleas? And he goes on this huge thing, and it's a scene that you can find on YouTube and watch at any time. I often do, but Ellie kind of gives like the resolution to this movie to him. Like, you never had control, you know? What's your like lasting take on this scene?
So I thought about a quote. Like I watched a really cool Disney Plus documentary with archival footage about the creation of Disneyland and like the final days leading up to it and the hectic, you know, creation and all the manpower that it took to create it. And Walt Disney has this great quote at the end. This is all archival footage and audio, where he talks about, I'm going to paraphrase, you know, I have all this money that I've accumulated, but what am I going to do with it? Like, I'm going to do something special with this money. And you do have a lot of empathy for Hammond in this moment, despite his recklessness as creator of this park. You're like, he really, when he's talking about the flea circus and wanting to entertain, you get the sense that like, he really did want to.
He's like, this time I wanted to, he's like tearing up. He's like, I wanted to give people something real, something they can see and touch and talk about, not something that was an illusion.
Right.
You know, his motivations are beautiful. It's just,
he didn't keep himself in check, and no one could keep him in check because of his massive power and all of his money. You know, like it's hard to keep people in check that have all of that. Yeah. Which is what eventually results in Jurassic Park, the events happening to the characters. It is one of my favorite sequences too.
Laura Dern's great in it.
And in the sequence, they're all like, Hammond is sitting down eating melted ice cream because of all the
power's out.
Right, and so he's eating, and the cap to the scene is Ellie getting a scoop, and she's like, "Oh, this is pretty good," but she's like tearing up and crying because she's overwhelmed. She's really worried. She makes a point to say she's worried about Lex, Tim, and Alan.
Yeah, that's Hammond is still talking about his like his goals and his achievement. And she's like, John, Tim, Lexi, Alan, they're out there. He's like, what are you talking about? Your achievement means nothing. Your grandchildren could be dead right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like it takes him hearing it to like, oh, they could be dead right now.
Mm-hmm.
He's telling himself in the beginning of the scene, oh, who better to get my grandchildren through Jurassic Park than a dinosaur expert? And she's on the other end of the table like, they could be getting eaten right now. What are you talking about? It's such a cool like meld between like you said, the fantasy world of this rich man who has probably not lived in reality ever versus this on the boots ground, paleobotanist. It's like, what are you talking about? It's such a beautiful scene. And yeah, the bookend, spared no expense on the ice cream, which is a line that he
keeps repeating and reinforcing throughout.
Letting them know, I'm rich. I'll spend whatever it takes to make this whatever I want it to be. Got Richard Kiley to do the audio.
Yeah,
spared no expense.
One sequence we didn't touch on is Nedry and him getting eaten by what's the species? The Dilophosaurus, which is also one of the scariest dinosaurs in the movie and in the franchise. And his death is truly alarming and still like it's just disturbing to watch because eventually, so Nedry is on his way down to the boating dock and he gets lost and his Jeep goes off the track and he doesn't know where he is and he's outside trying to hook the Jeep to a tree. And eventually the Dilophosaurus, which initially looks it doesn't look like it's going to be like this massive predator. Like it's very, I'm trying to find the right word, but
docile.
It looks very docile. It looks like a mini raptor or something.
And he even says, oh, you're not so bad. You're not as bad and scary as your big brothers.
And then the dinosaur shows its true colors and it has this great, like, I don't even know what to describe it as. Like this,
like frill.
This system, this like frill that pops out and shakes, and it has this like
colors, and
crazy like scream that it does that it's doing it, and it like spits venom at Nedry without his glasses because he doesn't have his glasses. He lost them, and it blinds him, and he gets back into the car, and there it is waiting for him, and that's the end of Nedry, and also that's the end of like the Barbasol can gets lost in the mud, not to be found. It's gone.
All of his effort, all of this like corporate espionage,
for nothing,
taken out by Mother Nature at the end of the day. But no, it's a great sequence, and again, great puppet work, great animatronic work. The Dilophosaurus holds up pretty well. It really does.
Very well.
We're pretty much going through the movie shot for shot, which is crazy. I mean, scene for scene.
That we also remember all of this,
which is crazy. But trying to go, I'm going to check quick, actually, how much recording time we have. Oh, we're good. We're good. Got 20 minutes.
Okay. Well, we can wrap this up in 20 minutes.
No, we're fine. I really like the sequence where they wake up the next morning, Grant and the two kids, because I'll stay up all night. And then it cuts to him. But they have that cool moment with a Brontosaurus or Brachiosaurus, one of those long-necked animals in which Lex has been clearly traumatized by dinosaurs. She wasn't into dinosaurs before coming to the island. She's a hacker. She's a coder. But she has like this moment where she finally decides to touch this dinosaur, and there's like dinosaur sneezes on her, and it's like kind of like a hokey moment, but it works as like this brief moment of comic relief that you desperately need. And the kids are really good in it. Moselle, God bless you. It's very childlike and innocent. And you get the rest of those three characters trek through the jungle as they find the eggs, proving Malcolm's theory, and they see the T-Rex attack on the...
I do not know the species name.
It's funny. Alan has to ask Tim, what
are
those?
Those?
He's like, Gallimimus.
They kind of move like birds, these like dinosaurs. And eventually T-Rex, the ultimate predator, comes in and starts eating. And like there's this great moment where Tim is like, so much blood. And then Alan drags him off.
It's so funny. But while they're going through all of that, Malcolm is kind of like fighting for his life in a weird way. He's like on this table, drenched in sweat. They're pumping him full of whatever they have to get him there. And he kind of quickly recovers and starts getting back to his sardonic self. But this whole time, Mr. Arnold, Samuel L. Jackson's character, Hammond, and Muldoon, they're the only 3 adults kind of like left who know the park.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to figure everything out. Everything's gone for, and and Jackson realizes that, oh, we can just go manually reset it at this other building, which is conveniently right next to the raptor paddock and through this like jungle enclosure. That this is like a moment where it's like, I don't think they would have sent Muldoon to do that.
Yes.
The first time.
No, but they sent
the guy
Arnold
with the
first.
Shotgun.
Mm-hmm.
But they sent Arnold. He goes to reset at, doesn't come back.
No.
The movie goes back and forth between the kids and Grant and then everybody in the control room. And it cuts back to Laura Dern like panicking. She's like doing laps. And it's like something went wrong. He would have been back by now. Her and Muldoon decide to go out to try to figure that out. In which you get Muldoon's last hurrah, which is a really cool scene.
He's like in his element. He's like, they're here, like they're hunting us, like because he kind of like stops in his tracks,
kind of awesome.
And he's like he has like this huge gun on him, and he's about to lead them through this jungle to the electrical place, and he like stops and he's like, oh my gosh, like they're around us, aren't they?
And she's like, let's just run. We can run.
He's like, you go, I'll stay.
No, we can't.
Yeah. And he's like, he's basically bait. He doesn't know it, but he's bait. Because Ellie, like, goes so fast. Like, and that's also really, like, she has to get there in, like, seconds. She has to run as fast as she can.
That's also a very, like, Indiana Jones sequence of, like, instead of, like, a ball, rolling towards her, it's, like,
unseen forces.
Unseen
right?
threat.
Like, we don't see the raptors chase Ellie, but we know that they're like aware. But they, unfortunately for Muldoon, they're focused on Muldoon.
Which they remember. They wouldn't have any relation to Ellie.
No,
they know Muldoon.
They know him, and they know he's a threat.
Yep. So which is like again pointing to the intelligence of these creatures. And there's so many little callbacks early in the movie that like you don't really think about until they come back. But like. They remember Muldoon. They don't remember her. And that means something in this sequence. It's probably the only reason that she survives.
Yep.
But she makes it to this underground layer. And you don't get Muldoon's death just yet. Because you have everything with her on the radio looking for this panel with Hammond and then Malcolm
on
taking
the radio
it from her. Like, don't listen to John. Follow it this way.
Like the wires on the top of the building.
Again, proving... Ian has never been to this park before. He's like, John, give me that. Shut up. This is your park, and I'm better at this than you are. It's just again reinforcing this. You don't know what you're doing, old man.
No.
And you also get that awesome line. Yeah, John, but when the Pirates of the Caribbean breaks down, the pirates don't eat the tourists. Everybody's just like piling on John.
Yeah, Hammond's like, well, they had an awful time at the beginning of Disneyland. Like things broke all the time. It's like, well. That's a little different. That's a great line. Great kept line.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so in that sequence, when she's down there with the electrical panels, it cross cuts between that and Alan, Lex, and Tim climbing up like the paddock itself and trying to go into the enclosure. Outside of the the landscape into the actual park again. So that they're kind of back to safety.
Get back to the convention
and it's
center.
It's such a great sequence because, they're climbing in up there and Alan has this great moment where he pretends like he's getting shocked and like scares the kids but they're going up and Tim is scared and he's taking it a little bit longer. Taking a little bit longer to get down, and as that's happening, Ellie is going like panel by panel, turning things on,
and an alarm is going off too.
Right, and that's why they're like. Lex and Alan are like, you gotta jump. Like, you have to jump right now.
I'll catch you. Yeah.
And then you get the countdown, 1, 2, 3, and then Ellie turns on the last panel, electrocuting Tim. Like he doesn't jump, he gets launched off.
He only gets to 2.
Right.
He was 1 second away, poor little guy. But Tim's fine.
Tim's fine.
But doesn't Alan say he's not breathing at first?
No, it's scary. Yeah. It is like it's a really weird sequence because he's not breathing and you get Lex crying and eventually they get him back to life. But after that, well, the raptors show up in the electrical place, and Ellie is very unsettled. Obviously, it's crazy, and she's put in this like. It's also filmed very frenetically, and she has this hand on her shoulder, and it's Arnold's hand.
It's instant relief because she's like,
oh,
there's a raptor on the other side of this thing. It's like, at least I'm not alone anymore.
Oh, Mr. Arnold. And then
she grabs his hand.
It's a severed hand, which is like a great like effect, and it's cheesy, but it works really well. Which is partly why it scared me when I was so young.
Oh, as a kid, that got me too.
And yeah, all the raptors are chasing after her, and
she's like limping.
She's limping.
Yeah,
she closes one in, like shuts the door on one. And the raptors are another great animatronic, and they're used so well. And they genuinely make you feel scared. And Muldoon is taken down by the raptors because he thinks he outsmarts the raptors, but the raptors outsmart him.
Yep.
And kind of like draw him in, and kind of what Alan talks about at the beginning of the movie with the kid.
It's the exact scenario.
The raptors enclose Muldoon, and clever girl. That's an iconic line, and then he gets taken out.
Yep.
And then eventually, we get the reunion with Ellie and Alan and the kids, and they go into the main building.
Well, no, because Alan leaves the kids.
Oh, you're right.
Like,
there's
food
eat.
out. He's like,
they get to eat.
Yep. And he's like, I'm gonna go find the rest of them.
Right.
And they sit back and eat, and then one of the raptors comes in, and you have that great kitchen sequence while Ellie and Grant are back in the control room.
Yes.
With like another shotgun and like Ian, again, the kids just get completely at this
left
point,
on their own. Yeah.
Alan, I don't think Alan would. That's kind of an interesting narrative choice. I don't think Alan's leaving those kids at this point.
But he does think that they're truly in safety.
Yeah,
he's not accounting for the raptors, because the raptors are loose.
And he doesn't know that.
They're very, obviously we know in the movie, very smart creatures. And like you said, the sequence in the kitchen is just so suspenseful. Mm-hmm. And the CGI does hold up well in that, as well as the sound design. The little like chirping or like little tiny roars from the raptors, and
the way they communicate.
Their claws going on the metal, and the two kids outsmarting the raptors. And it's another famous sequence from the movie. Like you can just add them on one top of another.
At that point, they get out of the kitchen, they run out into the dining area where everybody, like now Alan and Ellie are back there. All four of them go into the control room with Hammond and Malcolm, in which these raptors are trying to break it. Like they've learned how to open doors. They've learned how handles work. Mm-hmm. There's a funny we're going to be fine as long as they haven't learned how to open doors.
That's what Alan says that,
It cuts to one of them messing with a door, which is great. But you do get maybe my only real nitpick of the movie, which is like Lex doing her weird...
It's an interactive CD-ROM.
It's like, I know the system.
I'm like, okay.
This last week, I'm like, ooh. Okay.
That's also been like a meme and like something that's been poked fun at the last 30 plus years this movie's been around. But
she's good in this movie, though.
She is good.
I think both the kids are really good. It's just that's more of a screenplay thing at that point. That's more of a, they could have, I don't know. That was just an interesting.
It's like you're gonna give the little, like the 12-year-old, 13-year-old, like the keys to the security. And to truly close the doors. Yeah. But then they think they're safe with the doors closed, but then the raptors get through the glass. Yeah. And you hear a couple of shots from the shotgun, and
then you see that shot
of the shotgun laying on the ground.
Empty.
Well, it's another really effective moment because they're still on the radio, and Hammond hears all this, and he's like, "Run, run!" He's like really scared because they think they're fully at safety, and then they're not. Like it's just a That's a recurring event in the movie.
They go up through the vent, and you get that cool shot of like that raptor barely missing like Lex and then you finally get the T-Rex kind of saving which is another like convenient.
That's a Deus Ex, that's another like Deus Ex Machina. Like, okay, like the true predator of the movie is gonna save the
apex predator.
Right. Yeah. It's like, okay. But it's a great moment. I'm not gonna say it's bad. It works very well.
It does. Because there's 3 raptors at this point in the movie, but one of them has been locked away in the electronic thing. And then there's 2 remaining. The 2 that have been stalking the kids and then tried to get into the control room. Both these raptors have all of our characters cornered, other than Malcolm and Hammond.
They're off. I think still.
They're already
they're
safe,
in
pretty much,
some sort of control room.
Yeah, they're safe. Just waiting for everybody to get in the Jeep and go. But yeah, it's like the last. It's like, oh man, these raptors are about to get everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a big open door, and the T-Rex comes in. You get the score comes back, and a little fight between these two raptors and the T-Rex as our characters escape. And Alan gives his like funny line to Hammond, "Mr. Hammond, I've decided not to endorse your park." But you also get that last shot of Hammond like looking back on his creation, like sad.
Yep.
Like everybody else is getting into the helicopter, like running to the helicopter, and he's like slowly looking back. And Grant has to.
They have to pull him back.
Come on, man.
Yep. Like it's over. You got to give it up.
Which is a very different ending than the book. In the book, Hammond is killed by his creations. Those little tiny dinosaurs in the Lost World
That show up in Lost World. Yep.
A pack of them just rips him apart as he like breaks his ankle trying to escape, rolls down a hill, and then gets eaten alive.
Very.
It's like very
upsetting.
R-rated.
Yeah.
The book is way more gruesome about how characters die.
They die. Mm-hmm.
B.D. Wong's character dies in the book in a crazy way. You know, the book has a lot going on.
Crichton's like wrath towards the scientist really comes like, oh, you think you're in control of these animals? Like, no. Like you're not at all. Like they get humbled very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So
in fact, in the book Jurassic Park, Malcolm dies.
Yep.
And then after the popularity of the movie version of Malcolm, they're like, let's bring him back for the sequel.
They get retconned. Yeah. Didn't the studio go to Crichton? They're like, we need another book.
Yep. And he wrote the Lost
and we need Malcolm, who was the most like popular character from the movie.
He was. And I will say the Lost World book is head and shoulders above the movie in terms of like there's no San Francisco plot in the book. It's all very grounded in the island.
That's cool. I need to get
it's great.
A chance to read those too.
But this isn't about the books. Quickly, we ran through every scene in this movie.
We really have.
It's kind of crazy. We did that because we love this movie and we've seen it so much. As a bookend, I have to say what this franchise has turned into has been very disappointing. Pretty much every single time they've put out anything past this movie, it gets a little worse.
Mm-hmm.
A little progressively
I completely agree.
What they did with Jurassic World as a friend, I haven't even watched the last two.
The first one is fine.
I do think the first one is a good amount of fun.
That was a great time in the theaters in 2015. Yep. Like that was a cultural moment.
Yep.
Jurassic World, and it made over $1 billion. But yeah, like you said, I like Lost World. I like Jurassic Park 3 for all. I think
Jurassic Park 3 is pretty fun.
Yeah, like they're just fun. The first three are really first one's a masterpiece. The 2 and 3 are both really fun movies. Yeah. But yeah, at least Jurassic World, and then the other sequels, and then the one that came out in 2025 wasn't good. And like, man, like this is like kind of so easy, guys. It's like Jurassic Park. Like you get dinosaurs in a thriller. Like you can't reinvent the wheel in any way. Like I get that they should just stop making them in totality, but like it seems like it's handed to you on a silver platter, but yet you refuse to give these characters any sense of depth or reality. Like they're just characters, and they don't have like the leads of these last like 5 movies
have been nothing,
and they're not memorable whatsoever.
They've got no characterization. They've got no backstory. There's no like real stakes. It all feels like a Fast and Furious movie, but with dinosaurs. Mm-hmm. And I know some of the Fast and Furious movies are really good. Some of them I really enjoy. But like, let's just say like the bad ones. Like they all feel like a bad excuse to get a couple of big names together and like throw some crazy special effect budget your way, but like there's nothing there ever. Mm-hmm. Even Jurassic Park 3, you go back and watch that, it's like there's character moments in that movie. Yeah. Between like William H. Macy and T. Leona and their kid, and like there's real stuff between Grant and his like partner that he's trying to keep away, who was supposed to be Shia LaBeouf. Could you have imagined?
I didn't even. Wow, that's crazy.
Spielberg that was like the beginning of Spielberg wanting to work with LaBeouf. Yeah. Before Transformers. And then if you watch Jurassic Park 3, you can like a visual like that would have been. Sure, you know what I mean?
Sure.
I don't even remember that character's name in Jurassic Park 3. But that being said, I mean, yeah, this isn't hard. get a couple characters, you create very bare bone motivation and story for them, and like some level of depth, and you put them in a crazy situation together where you don't need weird mutations, you don't need hybrids, you don't need weird CGI set pieces in which it's all. Just have characters that you care about and have them get picked off one by one, and whoever survives, like make Alien, but instead of an alien, a xenomorph, just have raptors. Just you put 3 characters on an island trying to like find that Barbasol can retcon.
Something as simple as that. I mean, I really don't think it's as hard as they're making it out for them.
A fight for your life, the whole movie. And you get to know a couple of these characters, and then one character you love gets murdered viciously midway through, and there's motivation. It really isn't hard, but they're all about trying. I don't even know what they're trying to do right now. I don't know who they need to involve in the franchise moving forward, because they're not going to stop.
Right.
But less is more, And there's a lot. Jurassic Park, the original, isn't like a simple movie.
It's economical. In its storytelling and its scope.
Especially
it could be this massive global story, but it's very self-contained, and that's what makes it so good and makes it feel very intentionally scary. And since it is so contained with these characters, you do care for these characters and care that they survive or not. There are genuine stakes for the audience,
and hopefully they can get back to that.
I hope so.
Again, I mean, Jurassic Park is a classic. I think we're probably running out of time. I don't know. But this is a classic film. Again, it was a complete privilege to be able to see it on the big screen. I don't think I had seen it on the big screen before. And it holds up perfectly. This is a classic for a reason. This is an American touchstone, a worldwide touchstone. And it is a shame that we can't seem to figure it out. But I have high hopes that one day a director will. Jurassic Park is great, and if by some crazy shot you haven't seen it, for the love of God, go watch Jurassic Park.
I don't know how you have. I don't know how people have, but there's some people out there, and please go watch it. It's a perfect entertainment.
It's perfect. It has a lot to say, a lot to look at, a lot of great actors, both character and Hollywood superstar types, and it's just infinitely rewatchable throughout the decades.
Yep. And more Spielberg to come on the podcast. I mean, he has his whole filmography is very podcastable.
We could do everything. But there will definitely be more Spielberg. And just got to do Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom first.
Yeah.
Need my ScarJo. But thank y'all for continuing to watch, and have a good one.